Okay, I'm going to talk about my personal highlights from TOK this year. One of my first projects we did was the This I Believe project, the Nature and Knowledge, and this was one of my favorite projects. I really liked it because it was kind of talking about what we believed in. It was really personal to us, and I just liked the whole process of it, of thinking about what I believed in and how I could voice that and how I could talk about that, and then a way to present it, which I ended up making a video, a stop motion of someone holding up papers about that I believe that, and it was about 40 things that I believed, and it kind of just went around the school and the papers were read the different things, and it was really fun to make it, and it was really fun to see the end result, and it was really, and I put it all together and had the video plus my personal voice behind what I believe plus the music I decided to put in. The whole thing came together and looked really cool, and it felt really personal to me. And I usually in school we can't make projects about us and about what we want, about what we like or what we believe. Is usually about other things, and it was really nice to make a project about just what was personal to me and what I believed in. And I really liked this project, and I really like how it turned out and everything. And another project I really liked was from the Sense Perception and the Color and Synesthesia project. And I got the idea for my project from an email that Miss Braval sent out about this guy who painted with color. And since I'm in high level art and I'm really into art, I thought it'd be a cool way to connect my project with art. And what it was, this guy, what he did is he takes huge speakers and plays music and takes pictures of and puts paint on top of the speakers to take pictures of the paint in the air when the music is playing. And the result is really amazing pictures, and it was just kind of a way to see music displayed in color and in art form, and I wanted to do the same thing. But I didn't have the same resources as him. I didn't have a huge speaker or the whatever he used, whatever kind of paint or liquid he used. I didn't have that, so I kind of had to use my own. The artist who did this, he had these huge speakers and a glass tank, and I don't know what kind of paint he used, but it was really expensive. Even in the article that he wrote, it said he went through thousands of dollars. And what I ended up having to do is I experimented with a few things. Like I used my friend's sub in his car and my other friend's drum set, and I tried a few things, but nothing would make the water really bounce, because I ended up using colored water. First I tried non-Newtonian fluid, which is colored water mixed with cornstarch, but it didn't work very well, so I just used colored water, and because I thought that would be easier for it to move rather than paint, but nothing would make it really move because I need direct vibrations, and my friends didn't want me to ruin their speakers or their subs, so I couldn't do that. So what I ended up doing was taking my friend's broken down speaker and putting plastic wrap over it and playing different sorts of music on that, and all the different sorts of music created different sorts of shapes with the paint, with the colored water. It's really cool to see how certain types of music could create certain kinds of visual effects with it, and it's really cool to see just how the different senses could perceive the same thing. And another thing I liked in the language unit was our language as a way of knowing oral presentation, which I did as a group project, and it was about language of animals. And it was about, one of the linking questions was, is language unique to humans, and is there a further way of knowing than language? And what me and my partner came to the conclusion was there were further forms of knowing rather than language, and language is not unique to humans. Like a lot of animals, they're like cats and dogs, their body language, not actual like speaking language, but body language is super intense and it shows a lot about how they're feeling, rather than we communicate with words, rather than expressing ourselves with body language, which we do a little bit, but it's not what it's based off of. While animals who can't speak use body language solely to express how they're feeling or what they want. And this is a different way of knowing rather than actual language and speaking. And dolphins use clicks and other sounds rather than speaking, and that's how they communicate with each other as well. And it's really interesting to see the different ways that animals communicate, and it got us to thinking about other questions like, how do we measure knowledge and how competent something is? Like, just because we have language, we consider us the most advanced species, but all these other animals have different forms of language as well, but it's just not speaking language, but we consider them not as adept as us. And is there a right way to categorize it? Are we biased towards our own way of language? Do we just assume that we're the best just because it's our way, or are these other ways of language perhaps more complex? And one other project I really liked was the Emotion Digital Museum Gallery, and it was when we each got 2 emotions and we curated things off the internet about them. And like, I had desire and disgust, and when I looked up desire, it was more feelings of love or desire towards dreams or aspirations. It was more of a positive emotion, and I found a lot of like things written about desire for a loved one or desire to achieve something. But when I looked up disgust, what I was thought I'd found was just disgusting things, but most things I found were disgust towards oneself. Like when I looked up on Tumblr, it was all things I'm disgusted with myself, I hate myself. And what I realized while looking through all these quotes and pictures about disgust was more of desire is more of an emotion that you feel, while disgust is more of an emotion that leads to things. Like you're disgusted with something, so you feel angry about it, or it's more of an emotion that connects with other emotions, while desire is its own emotion itself. And it was really interesting seeing the different perceptions of these emotions and different ways to express them. And that's one of my favorite projects this year, and I really enjoyed them.